Welcome everybody to Young Composer Reacts to Iron Maiden, The Writing on the Wall. Look, you guys know I don't have the best camera. Imagine if it was 10 times worse though. Yeah, I used the wrong setting. Let's just say that the audio and the video of this video are about the same size. I tried to fix it, I tried to upscale it with AI, throwing it a little clip at the end for the fun, but it didn't work. It's really bad. Enjoy. Wow, every time we get into something, I don't know, something I really fuck with, I get self-conscious when I pause it, but I do have to talk about it. So my experience with Iron Maiden is like I've not listened to much of their stuff at all, but I'm in love with the song Fear of the Dark. And it's a song I used to listen to, and I would listen to this live version that they did somewhere in South America that was just nuts. When I was like awakening my musical conscience, so to speak, like I don't mean to sound mystical about this, but I did go through like a period where music became super important to me when I was younger, like about 5 years ago, and I would like stay up late with my headphones on the family computer and just like look up all the music I could and stay until 3 a.m. and I would sleep on the couch sometimes, and like Fear of the Dark was part of that experience, so anytime I hear the band now, it takes me back. First off, I know the video is censored for you, but I love this type of imagery. I know this has nothing to do with composition, but go watch the actual video. It's awesome. It's like it's so clear what they're trying to represent, even though it's not represented completely accurately, if you know what I mean. Just watch the video, and it's this sort of like steampunk apocalyptical thing that you see in Mad Max, that you see in so many comics and movies, etc. It's so relevant right now because of everything that's going on, without going into detail. Like, you know what I'm talking about, the end of the world sort of vibe. And I was looking for my pen earlier, I couldn't find it, but I usually take notes when I'm in the mood and focused for those reactions, but I don't want to today. This is sort of a more emotional approach, and I just love it so much that the band sings a song that hits so close to home, maybe for them. Like at this point they're fairly old, and they're looking at the end of their career. And so to say like the writing's on the wall and to sing that in a song like that is something's beautiful about that. I'll talk about the production right after this bit of the video. Okay, we're about to get into a guitar solo here. Let's talk about the production. So I talked about that in my other video I did about metal, which was about the band Death. There's a metal sound, right? There's a way you produce metal that makes it sound sort of raw sometimes, sort of really different from pop, where the vocals are in your face, etc. And this sounds like an old way of producing metal, like the way they did it in the 80s and 90s. Even though it's you can tell that it's modern, there's some things about it that don't lie. Like it's more compressed, it's more technically recorded, right? It doesn't sound sloppy at all in the recording as some old recordings may sound. What I mean by that is like the recording is up to the standards of something you could hear in the radio in a completely different genre. You know what I'm talking about? Like Metallica had so much creative freedom to record their stuff that they sometimes took it too far and the production sounded bad. This is not something that like labels really allow anymore. So even if you hear a song on the radio today that you really dislike, the production is usually going to be really good, and I think it's the case for that song as well. The production sounds super professional, that's all I'm trying to say. I talk about this all the time, but there is something that doesn't sound quite professional about the production, and that is the fact that the tempo flows, and I actually love that. They still record stuff live. You can hear it in the drums, and I mean at this point, as I said, the drummer must be like 80. It's crazy the performance that he delivers, and it flows not because he's bad, it flows because he's human and they're not playing to a metronome. And that's, again, you know, that makes me somewhat emotional to think about those guys like still doing what they were doing like 50 years ago at this point. It's just wow. Okay, I had to look that up. Maybe not quite 50 years, but 46 years. Let's rewind it a little bit. So the song starts with an acoustic that is not so common in metal, and it's quickly joined by some electric guitars, and we start building what I believe must be more of a live performance, right? You tend to record those intros with an acoustic guitar like as a separate performance from the rest of what's to come. Like the drummer and the bass player, etc., they don't necessarily need to be like standing in their spot waiting for their part of the song to start when the guitar player records the intro. But yeah, then I think it's pretty much just a live take, and those vocals by Bruce Dickinson sound very on point pitch wise, to the point where, again, it reminds of those modern techniques of recording where maybe you use a little bit of pitch correction, etc. Don't know if they did, don't think they would, but wouldn't be surprised because he sounds really good. So this kind of stuff about like auto-tune and recording to metronome, etc., I could honestly say this about every song. So why am I bringing it up? Well, it's because Iron Maiden is an old band, and it's super interesting to see how those bands evolve as, music nowadays sounds nothing like it did 30 years ago. So how does an old band do it? Well, so far this seemed to do it pretty much the same way they did dozens of years ago. Dude, oh my god. So, when you're an artist that is signed to a record label and you release a single, you pretty much have to make a music video, right? That is how the game works. And what that entails is that sometimes it just doesn't work. You don't have a vision for it. No one can help you get it out, what you mean to say. People don't hear the connection between the music and the video. The video just flops, and that's something that I see when I look at music videos. I'm like, oh, why would they do this? I don't see the connection. I don't see the point. But this specific music video is honestly just as compelling, if not more, than the song is, to me at least. I really enjoy that. I really think you should check out the actual video if you haven't. I see, again, so many pop culture references. I see everything in there. There's like Mad Max, there's like Rick and Morty, there's like, and I don't know what the thing is. I don't know if Rick and Morty in this video are taking inspiration from something else. Obviously that might be the case, but whatever it is, man, these animators, I hope they're paid well, because that was amazing. So last time I paused, we were getting into the guitar solo, and after that they went into a riff. Classic Maiden, I want to say, even though I haven't heard much. But yeah, at this point the video must be pretty long, so let's cut it here. I like the song, I love the video, and if you want to support what I do, because sometimes it's annoying to make reaction videos due to the YouTube algorithm, etc. Like, it's completely legal to do what I do because it's fair use. Like, I can legally put the video on the screen, but YouTube doesn't understand those things, and it's all automatic, and it's going to be blocked unless I dispute it, etc. If I don't censor it. I mean, it's a whole thing. So if you want to make it a little easier for me, just like hit subscribe, like, comment, share it, whatever you do, and I'll see you next time. Bye.